Today's guest is an Amazon problem solving expert. She specializes in taking care of those little issues that are plaguing your Amazon account, on the ones that you might not know how to solve, or the ones that you might not even know exist on your platform. We're going to be going into a lot of detail about what types of issues Amazon sellers face and how they can solve these problems, and also the best way to deal with the Amazon seller support help desk or support center. Today's guest is Ula. So, Ula, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast today. It's a pleasure to have you join us and talk more about these different problems that plague a bunch of different Amazon sellers and how either they can solve it or who they should turn to help them solve it. So, Ula, it's a pleasure to have you on. I'm excited to get into it. But first, I do want to give you a chance to explain and give us sort of the background of yourself and also your business Scale with Us. And talk more about why you founded it and really how you got to this point in your e-commerce journey.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. I've been in the Amazon industry for more than 5 years now, and my journey started in a very promising startup. They asked me if I want to start selling on Amazon from them, and I said, "Yeah, of course, let's do it." I didn't know like anything about advertising, logistics, FBA, nothing, and I said, "Yeah, let's jump into the water." So yeah, basically I managed 8 Amazons, all European ones. I managed more than 150 ASINs, listed them all from zero, started advertising, started using FBA, and the sales just keep going, because it was Corona time. It was like a perfect period to start with fitness equipment. There was a lot of competitors, but still, like where others had like a cost of 30, we had it like 9. So it was a great era, I would
Yeah.
say. Yeah, I was there for 2 years, and then I saw lots of companies reaching out to me on LinkedIn. Hey, Ula, can you help us? We have this issue, this problem, and so on. And I was like, yeah, I want to help you, but I don't have the time. I was employed, and it was a lot of work, and I was alone doing all the stuff. So I decided I want to go my way. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I know it sounds cliche, but it's true. So yeah, I decided to go my way. At the beginning, it was difficult because you're scared, you don't know how the business will run. But then, clients just come. Like the words go from mouth to mouth. If you do a good job, they just keep reaching out. So that's when it started growing. And yeah, now we're a small team. We manage everything from problems, advertising, logistics, helps, I don't know, mentorship, consulting, like everything that is in the Amazon atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a tricky business, definitely. And I don't know anything about it, but from what my boss has told me here at our agency, where we do something very similar, it's definitely not easy to get going. So I commend you for that too. And that was a great background into Scale with Us. I'd like to also kind of follow up there and say, we have an emphasis today, our topic on solving problems, and maybe this is an easy answer, and I'm overthinking it. But what led you to say I want to focus on solving these problems? Is it just that there were so many of them that it seemed like easy business? Is it more of this is what you were really good at, like you understood the problems and how to I don't want to say get around them, but almost to fix them? What led you in the direction of I want to solve problems for Amazon accounts?
So as a person, I'm very persistent, and when everyone says that's not possible, that's not doable, I will do it, and I will even if I die. No, I'm joking, but still.
I love the
And yeah,
determination.
and and everyone was searching out that they cannot, I don't know, unblock that ASIN, that seller support is not allowing them to change the brand and so on. I was like, yeah, I will do it. And I was being creative all the time and still am. And yeah, basically in the end, all the issues are solvable, like all of them. Like you can solve everything. You just need to be persistent and find and try many ways. So that's what led me, yeah.
You definitely gotta have persistence with the Amazon support. Sorry to cut you off there, I had to make that joke. Um,
Yeah.
they can be a little tricky.
Yeah, also a lot of people don't have their nerves, you know, as we said, yeah, persistency and so on. So they just wanna throw it away, and that's when they reached out, and I got a lot of energy and positivism, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And when I saw their happy faces, you know, like they were struggling for 6 months, and then they reached out to me. We solved it in 3 weeks, so they were super happy, and
Yep.
could sell and so on.
There you go. Yeah, no, it's definitely we need a lot more people like you, Ula. We need a lot more people that are willing to face these problems head on and not just say, "Well, I made a support case. They didn't answer me the way I wanted them to answer me, and now it's done." So, I definitely can appreciate that. Yeah, and I want to get into a lot of these different problems that you see. You mentioned a few already, in the beginning there of they won't change the brand, the ASIN won't get unsuspended. In your experience, just starting off, we're talking about some examples. What are some of the most maybe the top 3 common problems, that you see sellers face that is almost on every single account will face this kind of problem, or most accounts will face this kind of problem? It can be, easy problems, difficult problems, but what are the most common things that you see, on an Amazon account?
So at the registration, when they start applying all the documents they need, like for example, bank account statement and passports and other acts and so on, they don't like upload the correct documents, and they keep uploading it, and Amazon keeps rejecting it, and they don't let you know oftentimes what's exactly wrong with the document, so the sellers don't know. Amazon keeps rejecting it, and keeps going on for like 2 months, 3 months, and then they get pissed and they reach out. Or maybe Amazon blocks their ASINs. For example, they demand some certificates for that ingredient, for that material, and they don't know that. So some documents, I would say, and then when they start rebranding the ASINs, if a rebranding happens, Amazon doesn't allow rebranding, but it's still doable. Like I did it many, many times, and they just create a new ASIN. They lose all the history, all the reviews, all the sales, all the ranks. Yeah, a lot of these small, small issues that can become very big ones.
I like that. Yeah, I was gonna say these sound like they're not. And if the issues that we same thing we deal with are can be tiny at first, but then you think, okay, well, if this stays an issue for a long enough time, it's going to be affecting the business. Yeah, and I know that again, I made a joke about it already, but I know that the Amazon support center can sometimes be anything but help there. And we talked a lot about the help desk and how the people there are just people at the end of the day, and they're just doing their job, and they're humans on the other side of the phone or the other side of the email chain that you talk to, but sometimes it can be difficult to get an answer from them. So, I'm curious to know more about, without giving away your secrets, of course, but I'm curious to know more about the way you go about finding solutions to these problems, and like you said, being resistant. And again, I don't want to give away any of your secrets, but what is your usual maybe plan of attack for identifying and solving problems?
Yeah. So there's not a lot of secrets, I would say. It's just persistence and hard work. No, I'm joking. I will tell you. So every time I have an issue, I open 3 to 4 cases. Then I got a no, 2 no's, 3 no's, and then I start again. You know, on other marketplaces, on Amazon, of course. With other people, I demand a supervisor. I try, if I need some flat file uploads, I try tweaking with that, tweaking between marketplaces, for example, Spain, France, checking if I can change some attributes there, for all kind of changes. And I just keep going with support and with flat files and with all documents I can have and upload. And at the end, you always get a person that is willing to help you. You just need to find it. I know, like support people change like day by day. They come to Amazon, they go off Amazon, but still you have some of them that care a lot, and that I'm so thankful at the end, because together we can find a solution. But I would say, what is rule number one: never take a no for a no. Like never. Because if they say something's not possible and you say, okay, that's not possible, like you're doomed. Like you will need to
Right.
upload a new upload a new inventory file or a new ASIN, lose all the sales, all the data, create a new account, maybe if they blocked yours or whatever. So I never take a no as a no. If so, an example, I solved like I have the cosmetics brand that they lost almost 1 million euros of sales because they needed a rebrand urgently because someone was suing them for a similar brand name, and Amazon told them that they cannot rebrand their like their ASINs, their items on Amazon. They need to create new ones, but they had more than 3,000 reviews, a lot of sales. They've been present on all European marketplaces, and they couldn't do that. They couldn't afford starting from zero, so they tried on their own. They didn't succeed. They reached out, and then yeah, we pushed with flat files through different marketplaces. For example, one ASIN was not working in France, but it was working in Spain, like similar example to before, but I could change the brand there, then I could apply it to UK, Italy, and so on. Then for once I pushed support, asked for supervisors, changed some other attributes, maybe even deleted the ASINs for 24 hours and re-uploaded them, tweaking the partial update, the updates in flat files. So there's a lot of small tweaks that can make a big change, and then all is unlocked.
Wow, I love learning new things and new things about Amazon. I had maybe this is a common knowledge and I'm just behind, but it's very interesting that you change it. You're saying you change the attribute in one, like in France, and that
Marketplace.
updates it in
Yeah,
Spain, and that kind of will fix the issue. That's fascinating. I didn't know that. That was a thing. Wow. So I there checked off my box of learning something new today. Already we're only
so nice.
10 minutes in. That's great. But no, it's very, again, interesting how, and you said it yourself already, but it's very interesting how the right support person can make your case a nightmare, or it can make it just so easy. Um, and you're right. Yeah, I've done it in my experience when I was a brand manager. You just gotta.
I'm
That's
so
okay.
sorry. This is
You're
my
good.
dog. Shh. Oh my god.
We're gonna leave that in because that's funny.
Okay, yeah, yeah. It's fine.
But and she wants to be in the or he wants to be in the episode. He or she.
Yeah, yeah, it's a he. His name is
He.
Turbo. Yeah,
Oh,
I can show you.
please. Yeah, please,
Yeah,
please. This is much more
come.
important than whatever I was saying. Um.
Kitty.
Oh,
It's a small Pomeranian.
Soka says Pomeranian. So
Hi,
cute. So
baby.
now our episode is gonna say Ula and
And
Turtle.
Turbo, yeah, yeah. It
Turbo in
should
there.
definitely.
Absolutely.
He's the right hand of the CEO.
Let me put that and say featuring Turbo. Got it. Perfect.
So cool.
Um, but, it really can make a difference on who you get for your support, and so
Yeah,
if you, like you said, your resilience, and if you just take that first support person that says no, you're not gonna get a solution there. It's very interesting to see how, I don't know if you have any insider knowledge on how or why the support is so, I don't wanna say different, but I guess this could be people have been there for longer. Do you have any personal theories onto why that is the case, that support is different across the board? Is it just people with more experience, or, what do you think makes that inconsistency?
yeah. So I would say it's a matter of character. I would say it's like that because some of them don't care. Like they just get a job, they try, they don't care. Like they say you know and they end your case or maybe say that they send it to someone else. But when someone who cares, like they will do everything for their job, they will make the clients happy because it will make them happy. I would say it's like that because it's also the same thing for me. When the clients are happy, I'm happy. So yeah, so I think it's a matter of character. Maybe yeah, maybe they have some things with their wages and so on. I don't know that, but I would assume the first thing is how they like if others matter to them.
Right. That makes sense. I always thought it was just time, maybe been there longer, but I guess, yeah, the fact of the matter is that maybe some people just don't, unfortunately, just don't care as much. Sorry,
Yeah.
Amazon, if you're out there watching, it's okay.
No,
We're
because
just
you
speculating.
yeah, no, it's true because you get some of them that you see that are nuance. Some of
Right.
them even tell you, "Sorry, I'm new, I'm learning,
Yep.
whatever," and they still help you a lot, you know?
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
push the right buttons.
Right. Like I said, it depends on who you get.
Yeah.
But more on, I guess, as much as we're giving some of these people high praise, more on avoiding going to them at all. What is so we mentioned some common errors, right? But what are some of the things that maybe sellers can do to almost the term I guess would be like bulletproof their listing. So make them unavoidable for these errors. Is that even possible? Is there a completely 100% foolproof way to set these listings up so that they do not get flagged? Or is that just a part of Amazon?
So I would say Amazon plays a big role here. Like you can do everything like perfectly fine, and they will decide that they will change their policy for whatever, or that, or maybe for example, I have a company who sells like cannabis products, and Amazon will demand their like documents, their ingredients, and their safety cards. For the other one that sells the same products, they won't demand it like in a year, maybe never. But in the first place, I think it's important to like know all their policies, check the performance metrics in their account, in the account health, then maybe use FBA because they're covered, with all the shipments and so on,
Hmm.
because they can say, yeah, maybe Amazon did it, to be proactive, and also check the metrics, and maybe don't use like fake reviews because this is not a thing anymore. It was years ago, but till I'm in the industry, it's not anymore. Yeah. So I think if you're doing the right thing, if you're careful, if you accept what Amazon says, like for at the beginning, when uploading ASINs, when uploading documents, and so on, I think you won't have a lot of issues. And also, if you have a good product, reliable manufacturers, a registered brand, if you have all of them, and maybe the EN codes from GS1,
Hmm.
I think you avoid a lot of that problems.
Yeah, and that's usually um, what we say to anyone that comes into like you have to have those GS1 US barcodes if you're selling in the US or
Yeah.
Amazon. It's crazy how much work, I guess, or how much investigation Amazon will do into your business. They'll cross reference you with GS1. They partner with them. They'll cross reference you with the USPTO. Speaking for strictly selling in the US, and all that kind of good stuff. So they really will look into this. So there's really no getting past them with that.
Yeah.
But like you said, even if you do everything right, we've seen the same thing. We've seen just random, especially back in the day with the, I'm sure you remember the random pesticide claims. Just like, oh, we got a
Yeah,
pesticide
yeah.
claim, but we sell baby blankets, so I don't
Mm,
really know how that fits. Yeah, we had a couple interesting issues back then when I was a brand manager for that kind of issue. But in any case, yeah, no, it really is. There's nothing you can do to prevent some of these things from happening aside from just even if you do everything right, sometimes you will get flagged. But obviously, with people like Ula and with others out there that know how to solve these problems, there's ways to solve the problems. So
yeah,
that's nice.
and when people say, "No, don't do that change, Amazon will block you immediately," that's not true. Like in 99% of cases, they will give you a time frame. They will give you a month, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months. Like they will give you a time to solve your mistake if you're not like, I don't know, being a fake company and selling fake stuff.
Right,
If you do the right thing and wanna change something, don't be scared because they won't just block your account because it's not in their interest.
right. They
They
would
they
lose money.
always give you a time. Yeah, and
Right.
also, oftentimes there are many founders of the companies, and when they start with their Amazon accounts, they don't know that they need to upload all of the founders that have more than 25% of ownership, and then Amazon doesn't say that to them, so they don't know what to do. They keep applying the documents, and then their accounts get blocked. Yeah, that then it can get like then it's more difficult to solve it, but still, when you contact your account manager from Amazon, let it be in the States or in Europe, they can lift it up to their supervisors, and I
Mhm.
think it's solvable. Yeah.
I actually just ran into that problem, funny
Oh,
enough, and
really?
it wasn't even like it was a very small business, but there was a mom, a dad, and a daughter, and the daughter was uploading, she was opening her Amazon account and giving all the business information, and the mom and the dad are both 50% owners, but she only listed the dad as a business owner So Amazon said, "Well, we can't let you start this business on Amazon," and the daughter was so confused. It was very interesting that even just a small business like that, they really do look heavily at everything. They have teams dedicated to all this stuff. So, there's one, there's no getting by, and two, of course, with all something as big as that, there's bound to be some mistakes, but, like you said, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and so, more than likely, you're gonna unfortunately mess something up, but it's not gonna be the end of the world. Amazon's not just gonna say, "Sorry, go try on Shopify
Yeah.
or go try on eBay," or something like that. They're not gonna kick you off. Maybe if it's a big
Yeah.
enough problem, but, like you said, if you're just doing everything correctly, most of
Mm.
the time, they'll give you a chance, so which is pretty
Yeah,
nice.
and what I wanted to say
Mhm.
is that when people start selling on Amazon and they prepare their catalog, their ASINs, and list their items, they don't do it like very well. Like they just list the items, list the products, and go. And when you start changing the attributes, it's so much more difficult than if you would do it at the end correctly. So I get a lot of that cases where people cannot change their catalogs. So I always say to them, please come to me. We can have I don't know, 2 hours. I can teach you what's important, what you should do, and then you just can do it, your way. Just please like do it correctly.
I definitely wanna hear I know that we talked about this issue a little bit, already, you mentioned it. It's changing the brand name is always, always, always a big hassle, is always a big, like, "Ooh," like, "Wow," like, that's a tall order, really, for Amazon support. Do you have any and I know I'm diving into now specific
Mm.
issues, but do you have any solution like, any suggestions for how to go about doing that correctly? Is it just also persistence and determination? But with a little bit do you have certain ways to ask the questions to the support people to say, "Hey, I need this answer." That's usually what I hear is that you have to ask that question a certain way, but, I'd love to hear any experience you have with changing brands and how that has worked for you.
Yeah, so brands and EN codes or UPS, those are the most complicated ones to solve
Mhm,
and to change, like almost impossible, but still doable. I would say, as I said before, flat file is the first thing. So maybe delete the product for 24 hours and then re-upload it. Try with update. Try with partial update. If nothing succeeds, go to seller support. Try with them. Change the questions. Demand a supervisor. Open a case in brand registry. Maybe try tweaking the things on another Amazon, maybe Australian one, I don't know, American one, you name it.
mhm.
Um, and all these kind of solutions together will form like a real solution for the ASIN. It's difficult to say just one hack or maybe that this will work 100% because it depends. Like for 3 ASINs, it can work. Then for the other 2 ones, I need to push support for more help. Like maybe I say to them that this is our correct brand. Maybe I send to them the GS1 certificate that this is our correct new brand name or EN code, and then I just push them like until I get a resolution from them. I just don't stop. I just
Right.
really like I'm not joking. I just don't stop and then I get a resolution.
Right. And like you said, eventually you'll find that right person that you're looking for.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
right help support desk person that's gonna say, "I know exactly how to solve this problem." Similar to you, maybe they've encountered a problem before and they know what needs to be done. They know exactly the way you're saying it. They understand it. They say, "Okay, well, here's what we just got to push the right buttons." Is what we said. But yeah, no, that really is it sounds like it's the really the key for all these is just again, just keep persistence pushing through. There's no secret, ingredient here.
Mhm.
It's aside from persistence. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
because companies ask me what should I do? What should we do? I say them the same things, but it's still like you as we said, you need to be persistent. I know it's funny to say that, but I cannot tell you like a resolution because there isn't one. There are
Mhm.
many, and you need to
Mhm.
use all of them at once.
Right. Right. And is there anything else? Is there any kind of anything that you have at scale with us that like any kind of technology or any kind of tools that you use for maybe smoother flat file uploads? Do you have anything, any different programs that you use to make things easier? Do you have any different SOPs that you follow, that you and the team follow to completely and correctly fill out these flat files or deal with these issues?
So I'm doing it like daily. So basically, I
Hmm.
still do it the old way. I'm
If it ain't
old-fashioned
broke, if it ain't
Excel
broke, yeah.
uploading stuff. Rather than that, I only use Sellerboard, I think. And Data
Hmm.
Dive at this moment. So no more tools. I tried many of them. They didn't work well for me, so I decided to do a lot of stuff manually. Maybe the future will bring me a new one, or I will need a new one. But for now, I'm just staying old-fashioned
Right. And if it ain't
with my
broke,
Excel.
right, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I hear that.
Yeah.
I am amazed at not only yours, but also our own data admin teams, at their ability to work flat files. It is something I have the least amount of experience in. I would say in my Amazon, bubble, is flat files. I have no idea. I can't figure them out. Every time I get an error, I'm one of those people that just says, all right, maybe I don't need to do this anymore. Maybe we don't need to upload this new ASIN at all. Even though you have units of it already produced, that was never my thing, was the flat files. I was much more of a manual upload, but then you don't get all the information, and then something goes wrong on there and you don't really know. So I know flat files are really the way to go, opposed to manual uploads, but there's just so much going on in there. So I really respect you and the team and everyone else that knows how to do them, because
Thank
that's
you.
a lot going on there. So yeah.
No, so yeah, it's not that difficult, but when you have a lot of jobs to do, if you do advertising, everything else besides Amazon, it's difficult to focus into that. If you do that, oftentimes it gets easier. You know exactly which mistakes that you do, and support won't help you a lot. So you will need to just re-upload, and when you see the success, 1 of 1, 24 of 24, and so on, it will be just, yes, okay, this is the recipe, and I will use that forever.
That was always the best feeling in the world when I eventually, if it was a tiny problem, I'd try and do it myself, but if I submitted a flat file and it said all uploaded correctly, oh, that was a good feeling. That was a real win, on that
Yeah.
day.
Oh
But
my
with
god.
no
I
errors coming
feel you.
back, it just sent me the email, yeah, and just said, "Oh, this was that was a really that was a good win." Um,
And then you see the products in the inventory, and you're
right,
just like, "Wow, that's a big win." And
right.
sometimes they won't appear in your inventory for like 24 hours, and you're just
Mhm.
like, "Okay, I'm doomed." Like
Sitting there
nothing
nervous, yeah,
works.
you're sweating, yeah, yeah, like, "What is it gonna work? Is it not?" Yeah,
I'm
no.
closing the business.
Yeah, giving up, done, shutting the doors, declaring
Yeah,
bankruptcy.
let's go.
No. But yeah, they really are something else, you know? So again, I respect you guys and the team for knowing how to operate those correctly. Um,
Thank
going
you.
going going back, yeah, of course, going back to one more kind of topical issue here that we're kind of seeing today. Are you seeing a lot regarding the tariffs or anything else, or even regarding anything to do with Rufus, or trying to rank correctly for that? Are you seeing a lot of those issues pop up? Trying to my best here to relate it to current events,
Yeah.
to kind of to close this out here. But anything happening in today's Amazon space that is affecting listings in a way that you haven't seen before, or that is kind of new.
So I would say Europe is very much different from the American countries and so on.
Hmm.
So they demand a lot of documentations that if you sell on Amazon.com, you don't need. About the tariffs, I would say they don't affect a lot of our customers because they get their stuff directly from Europe or from China directly to Europe. And if they don't sell in the States, it's not like that much of a problem until now. But yeah, I'm I don't know because I'm focused into the new accounts, solving the issues and so on. So hmm, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not very much on the line with that.
Yeah,
I
and
I
it could
see
be the
the
answer could be
LinkedIn
no.
posts. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see the LinkedIn posts, I see all the news, I read all of that, but I would say we manage more than 50 brands now, and I would say mm, almost none of our clients had like that kind of issues till now.
Hmm.
So let's hope for the best.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, that
Let's
stays
see.
that
Yeah,
way. Yeah.
and Rufus is not that much big in Europe yet, so
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Hmm. I wonder if in the future that'll be something that, because we started optimizing for Rufus specifically, and I wonder if that'll be maybe an extra spot somehow on the flat
yeah, of
file
course.
or something like that. It'll add something in there, and then it'll issue a whole new era of problems that'll come up, I'm sure. Knowing Amazon and just knowing the history, I'm sure they'll be adding more things, and then that'll cause more variances, and that'll cause more problems. So in any case, right now, at least to know good to know that it's not, at least from our end and from your end, it's not causing a lot of, just
Mm,
regular issues that need to be immediately solved or that are hindering your business at all, so that's good to know.
yeah,
That's good to
yeah.
know at least.
I would say in on European Amazons, you can optimize for Rufus with questions and answers if they are still available. And a very like major update is that keywords are not that important anymore. We need to personalize the listings for the audience. Like this is like a key change that we need to apply to our head,
Right.
to our minds, because we're locked in that keyword system, and now we need to change it completely. So that's like a big issue and a big. I see it as an advantage, but it will take time to learn and gain that knowledge and the process.
It's a bit of a crazy jump, definitely,
Yeah,
which is just so interesting to see them not switch away. I think keywords will still be very important,
yeah,
but
of
it's so interesting
course.
to see them switch away from such a heavy focus on them into the AI stuff with Rufus, yeah. No, it's very interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I have one question I always like to ask all of the guests. I always like to ask all of my podcast guests. What is one thing, if you could if you could reach out and send a message to every single Amazon seller, regarding everything that we've talked about today, if you could send them one piece of advice or just tell them one thing, what would you say to all of the Amazon sellers out there?
I would say to them that don't like lose your hope. Solve that issue. You will solve it 100%. Find some help, but you're not doomed. Like if you have any issues, you're not doomed. Like you will solve it. Just go on. Just be persistent. Just push support.
Persistence.
Just yeah,
Yeah,
persistence is key.
there it is. There it is.
Cliche.
Yeah.
No, but
I'm
it's true. It's true. Like every problem is solvable, so don't panic and just go solve it.
Perfect. Yeah, love it. Well, Ula, again, I want to thank you for coming on to talk to us more about how to solve these problems and, your tricks with Scale with Us. Make sure you connect with Ula on LinkedIn. I'll have her LinkedIn page and Scale with Us's website down below in the description, so make sure to check both of them out. Ula, thank you so much for joining us today and being a guest on the podcast. I really appreciate having you on.
Thank you so much. It was
Yeah,
a pleasure. I'm so happy. Thank you.
yeah, of course. Thanks for coming. Thanks everybody for watching. I'm your host, Velocity Pete, and we will see you next week.